Hey everybody, I have a very special guest. Brittani is joining me today.
Hi!
To talk more seriously and in depth about signs and symptoms of depression and suicidality and kind of what we're going to do about it if we notice it in ourselves or if we notice it in someone that we love and care about.
Cool. Yeah, ready? Awesome.
So like I said, today we're going to talk a little bit about depression, suicidality, and some of the warning signs. And I know I've talked about these in the past, but it's always a good refresher and a reminder, especially around the holidays. Things can get a little more stressful and it can be really hard. And a lot of the most common symptoms, obviously everyone's experience is different, but, and I made some notes here, so I peeked down, that's what I'm doing. So the first
She's
one,
cheating.
I cheat, is withdrawal or isolation. If we find ourselves pulling away from those we care about, Brittany's like, hey, hang out, and I'm like, oh, I can't. Then that may be a sign that someone is really struggling. Also, sleeping too much or too little. Like I said, everyone's experience is different, so some people will find themselves having trouble getting out of bed, like in your video, and she was like, no.
Yeah, and Nancy was like, you have to watch, if you haven't watched it, Nancy is depressed. So, yeah, when you don't want to do anything.
Exactly, you have no energy, and some people won't sleep at all. Like, they'll lay in bed at night and be like, they can't go to sleep. And then also, eating too much or eating too little, again, depending on you. Also, not enjoying the things that we used to enjoy. And that's, honestly, as a therapist in my practice, that's my number one indicator. They're like, well, I don't really want to play piano, but they love playing piano.
That's bad.
Yeah, because that's just a sign that something's off and we should be enjoying those things in our life. Then the last three is obviously an increase in drug or alcohol use. A lot of times...
It's a pretty good indicator, right?
Yes, because we're using it as a way to cope.
Yeah.
So if things are feeling really crappy and we're just feeling really down, then we may use that to help, go to another place with it. And also if someone obviously is talking about killing themselves or feeling like they're a burden to other people, that's a very clear indicator. And the last one is when you give away prized or valued items because, if you're going to commit suicide, you're like, well, I won't be using it, so I'll give it to you. So if you notice any of these, please reach out for help. If someone in your life is, exhibiting any of these symptoms, please get them the help they need. Let them know you're there to support them.
Yeah.
And so with Brittani, I guess we were just going to kind of have a little chat about it. And first of all, since you have been on YouTube for forever and ever, I wondered if you get a lot of mental health questions or...
I really do, because I think, my videos are always really positive and light and bubbly, so I think people, think that I always have my stuff together or something, so, I would have, the right answers, or... I try, sometimes I feel like I have really good advice, and sometimes I'm just completely lost, when people do say that they're suicidal or something on Twitter, it's really hard for me, because I don't know what to do, I don't know how to help them, almost always I say, please tell your parents, tell your friends, and try to get help, because I don't know how to fix that,
Yeah.
I don't know why, so a lot of times it's pressure on me, but I do get questions.
Yeah, and I think it's great. It's a great sign. It shows how much people look up to you and love your channel, because the fact that they feel open enough to talk to you about it, you know? So, oftentimes for myself, when I'm giving advice or offering up some options, I feel it's easier when I've had a personal experience with it. Have you personally had some experience with mental health, either you or
Yeah, no, my first kind of I think instance of it, I was in 7th grade and I actually had a friend commit suicide.
Oh,
but his it's fine. His family there's just a lot of family drama, and I don't think he didn't know the gun was loaded. He was more threatening to do it, and then he did it, and then. It was really, really, really messy. So I think I didn't really understand that. I just knew that it was really sad, and my playmate was gone. Does that make sense? Because I was in 7th grade, and this is someone that I used to ride horses with at the place where we boarded horses. So it was very weird for them not to be there.
Yeah.
But personally, it was really hard. My dad passed away from bladder cancer. Oh. So that was about 3 years ago. So I think I had definitely after he passed away, I had some of these symptoms. I didn't want to shower. It was really hard for me to get out of bed. Mm-hmm. I didn't give away anything, but I just literally had this it was just I just hurt and I just wanted to sleep.
Yeah. Which are symptoms of depression, really. Yeah. And in DSM speak, if we're talking about depression, when we're grieving, that's part of the grief. We don't technically say, you're depressed. You're grieving, and it's hard. And I had a similar experience when my dad passed away, where I struggled to do the things,
Just
enjoy
normal
the
things,
things
yeah.
I wanted. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. It was hard to sleep. Like a lot of the symptoms that we're talking about are things you'll experience.
Yeah, I went to like a friend's party and I was right after my dad passed away, and just like them just hear like even gossiping or things that they were I couldn't handle like normal life things.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was screaming at them like, my dad just died and you're worried about this little petty thing.
Totally.
And I was like, this is not healthy. Like I'm gonna like bite people's heads off, you know. So
Totally.
I was like, I'm gonna go home. So,
This is done for me.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, and I don't know if this is something you experienced, but I remember feeling like, don't you know my dad died? Like, life shouldn't be going on. Like, there was traffic, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Don't you know? Like,
yeah.
it should just stop, because it stopped.
And I know, like, also, like, I remember, like, I was being at, like, a flea market, and people, like, being mean to their parent or mean to, like, person. I was like, you don't, weird thoughts, like, you don't deserve to have, like, your father or mother around, like, just really weird, angry thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine now, but, definitely had a weird phase.
It feels that way. We can get angry a lot about that kind of stuff because of it's a process. We're trying to figure out what our life looks like now that things are different, and how, you know, we can be jealous of people who don't have that terrible experience.
But I mean, I think the biggest thing that like helped me though was just talking about it. Like I talked to my mom about my dad and everything for years.
Yeah.
Like I just talked about it all the time to the point where I finally was like, it didn't hurt. I could talk about it easily.
Yeah.
And it just takes time. It was just a healing process I had to go through. Yeah, I think honestly the thing that helped me the most was just talking about it, and it was just, you know, because like I had, you know, some of my other family members that just like ran away and didn't really talk about it, and they're still dealing with it. And I'm like, it's been 3 years, and I finally can talk about it, and it doesn't hurt. And it's like, this is something that happened. It gave me empathy. It didn't make me bitter.
Yeah.
So I think that's when something like that happens, you have two roads. You can become like, you know, bitter and angry at life, or you become empathetic and so grateful for what you do have, knowing how precious it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of times I think instead of looking at potential traumas, I guess we'll call them, or hard times, instead of looking at them as like a real shitty situation that just like ran us over, we can think of it as like a scar story about our life, and like it makes you a better version of yourself, makes you who you are, helps shape us. And talking it out is really important. That's why I always tell you guys to reach out. Yeah. Even if it's just a friend or a family member, the more we talk it out, the more we process it. Like Brittani was saying, the less like power it has over us, the less we hurt over it. And we'll all have our bad days, and when we're going through stuff, it can be really stressful, and we can still cry about it, but we know that that's okay, and it's all just part of this process.
And a lot of it is just not being, like, I think for me too, the biggest thing that I've learned in life is just always to be honest, because like even sometimes the things that are most scary, it's like you got to be honest about things that are really big problems in your life, because people will surprise you how supportive or how they get behind you when you're just honest and just be real and let them know really what's going on.
Yeah, because then they know where you're at.
They know to try to help you. At least like if they don't have all the information, and a lot of times it's really hard for people to get behind you. Like let's say you have an eating disorder or you have something that you're going through. If you don't tell anyone, how are they supposed to help you?
Yeah, because then they don't know what they're even dealing with. They might not even know that you're hurting.
Yeah.
Most of my viewers in general are girls, and they're in their teens. And obviously, I know there are many out you that don't fall into that category, but majority of them are. And so you're a very happy, bubbly person. And what advice, looking back, would you give to, 13-year-old Brittani, if you could?
God, I mean, I feel like there's one, like the main thing for me is like I'm a worrier. So I feel like if I could just go back in time, there's so many things that I worried about that never came true. Like I worried, like when I went to LA, if I would have just enough, like, money to be able to like eat, or if I would actually work, or if I was doing the right thing, or I worried about whether guys like me or not, or I worried about my skin and I just feel like I worried too much when I could have just been enjoying life and relaxing.
Yeah. And it's funny what you think, looking back, even just thinking for myself, it's like if you look back on what you thought was going to be a big deal,
it's not
a big deal.
Or things that I thought were like I would never be happy again, and then like, oh my god, like I liked a guy and then it didn't work out. I was like, I'm never gonna be happy. Just like it was just so overwhelming.
Yeah, like my world is over.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like, totally, but it never. It gets better.
Yeah,
things get better.
And I think also too, just like being yourself and being confident, because like even if someone doesn't like you, all it matters is if you like you. But no, I think that just like being confident in just who I am. It took me a while. Like I think I was always trying to be like I didn't know, and like how was I supposed to act, or it took me a while to realize that I could just be quirky and be myself, and people accepted it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's from making videos is what really brought me out of my shell, I think, and I realized that when I was just being myself and quirky, people liked it,
and
I was
liked
like,
you,
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have to try to be cool or be funny or be sexy. I just had to be myself.
Yeah. And I guess my last question that we had was, if you have any other friends and YouTubers that have talked about mental health, people they could maybe look up, or you know, stuff like that. If they,
I think that's what's really hard for me is like people don't, you know, everyone has like, I know Shane Dawson talks about his like problems. He's very open with them all the time, and I love it. So brave. I mean, Connor Franta just came out, which I thought was just. That video almost made me cry. I'm thinking like the fact that he felt like he had to hide. Like,
like
who he was. And you know, the fact that everyone's supporting him so much now that he's being who he is, like that's the biggest testament. Like just be who you are. Like gay, straight, purple. Like doesn't matter. If you're purple. Like be purple.
Yeah, and people love you for who you are. Just
so I think it's finding just I think the key is to find people that when you watch their videos that they make you feel better about yourself and they make you feel happy, and like those are your role models. You know, the ones that like you look up to, or you know, it's like for everyone's different. Like, you know, if you're a baker, you might like some really positive baking videos. You know, find what you like.
Yeah, and I think that's a great message, is finding on YouTube and in social media in general, and people, life in general, is positive, supportive things that make you feel better. Because I know sometimes we can get sucked into like a negative swirl where we're like looking at really bad content and negative, you know, feel bad about yourself content. And that's why I like your channel.
Thank you. No, that kind of segues into like it's really important who your friends are.
Yeah, exactly. So we did a video previously on Brittani's channel. If you haven't checked it out, and if you haven't gone to her channel, click the link here. Check it out. Her videos are amazing, hilarious, so uplifting. I love that there's messages at the end sometimes. It's really great. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. And we'll just keep being cool and hanging out. And also don't forget to subscribe, because I put out videos 5 days a week, and you can miss one, and that's really sad.
What'd she say?
Sweet. Awesome.
There's a plane. Doesn't the plane know that we're talking about some very serious stuff right now? It's like totally messing up our shot. Ziplines. Oh. Give me a hard drive, girl. Your hard drive, girl.
Hard drive.
Hard drive, girl.
Drop.
No, give me a hard drive, girl.
Drop.
I know, I'm so sorry. I can get it dropping on
Drop the
laptop.
beat.